Ladies and gentlemen, don't mind if I do.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Wongy.
Oh.
That is delicious.
The gin game, the gin reapers.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Little update. Bradley, here we are. The year this was filmed was 2000.
Debatable, but I think we've settled on 2000. Correct.
And I went through history to see where things were in life. And I can tell you that the Nokia 3210 was just replaced with the 3310.
Oh, was that the end of the Snakes game?
No, possibly went through both phones. You were a gun on that. Absolute gun on it. Britney Spears released Oops, I Did It Again.
Oh.
The late, great Sir Don Bradman passed.
Did he?
Yep.
Jeepers.
Johnny Howard was president. Prime Minister, should I say. Eminem released Stan that year.
Cracking year.
Sydney Olympics.
Yeah. Kathy Freeman.
And Tension 2.
Tension 2. All the big hitters.
All the big hitters.
So set the scene for us, Wongy. Tension 2, just off the back of Tension 1. Obviously, that was your first video. What were your expectations of it and what were your thoughts after Tension 1?
Ooh. So Tension 1, I felt was pretty small scale project.
Yep.
And I thought I was going to do another, well, I did do another small scale project.
Yep.
But still had no idea of what it would later become.
Yeah, yep.
Definitely in our little bubble, just filming each other, having fun, hey.
And had it been on your mind for a while? Like obviously Tension 1 and then Tension 2 kind of backed up pretty quick. But like you said, we were filming a lot like in the lead up to that, but it was something you'd been thinking about for a while?
Yeah, I think after I did the first one, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to let's go.
Yeah, sick.
And you were 17, I believe, 2000?
Oh,
and
what am I, 21 now? We go back 23 years.
So I was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were 17.
Yeah, I would have been, yep.
We can talk about while the movie's going. I may as well start it.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Something that straight away just sprung to mind was these opening credits. Hang on, I'm just going to press play. Thomas Pictures presents. There we go to line it up. David Wilcox did this animation.
Yep.
And I think you might have even been living there at the time.
Yeah, we were in a caravan out the back of the place there in just at the bottom of Carter's Road there. So
straight into the opening wave of Virtue. I've told this story before on my podcast, The Grin Reapers. This wave of Virtue was fucking unbelievable. Like, it's just the sickest air forward out north. And he just come in so amped and excited. And I was like, I fucking missed it. He's like, fuck off. And I stone-faced him. Hey, I was like, I missed it. Because I knew when I filmed, I was like, that's the intro for my next movie.
Yeah.
And I just told him I missed it. There was no one else filming or shooting. And he was pretty filthy, but I thought it was going to be worse. Like.
Surprising.
And then I never told him until the movie premiere night. He comes on the screen first wave and he's like, fuck, he got it.
He was so pumped.
He was pumped and he was off me.
I was just trying to think back to when I thought Hardy was in his prime. And like it seems like it kind of went on for a while, but looking at some of these early clips, it's like he was definitely kind of in this era. He had a bit of a gap between him and the rest, I reckon.
Yeah. What year was Tatey Skins? Was that about 99?
I reckon that was 2002.
2002. Or maybe it was around this time.
Yeah, it would have been around this time, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was also wondering about Prime Hardy because I was going through some old videos and man, even when I did the movies after Tension with Stoney, Hardy is shredding them. Huge reverses. We did that trip up to that wave we won't name, but we'll towing the beaches.
Yeah, yep.
And man, he was still prime hardballs then, and that must have been 2012.
12,
yeah.
Yep.
So he's kind of eternal, hey.
I think he went through a fair few stages, like in different conditions as well, where he was, the standout guy, but obviously we got to see a fair bit of him, pretty clinical.
Yeah, and obviously, we had Hardy on for the first Tension Director's Cut breakdown, And did I even introduce you properly? Brad Hughes, here he is. I forgot to introduce you. But we're halfway through the intro here, and here's Joel fucking Ranky Taylor. Yeah. So fucking good to see him back surfing again.
I know. And I actually reckon that he was like one of the other best guys around before he did his back. I reckon this must have been the year of or the year before. He broke his back at Pipe, but I reckon he was one of the other best Aussie guys after that. That's kind of a couple of years in WA. He was just
Hughesy, here you are. Rejected. When did you that clothing company Rejected you started and you were a part of, that would have been released this year too?
Yeah,
hey?
I reckon that would have been at the start of it. Yeah, trying to think. But yeah, I think it would have.
Who was in on that?
So Toby Player was in on it. Thorto was, Kingy was after a while too. The King actually started it. So, yeah, there's a few of us involved. Actually got pretty big for a while there.
Yeah. So how does it work? I was trying to tell Sarah at dinner tonight, you left school kind of early, hey? And she's like, oh, did his mum just let him finish school and he didn't have a job? I was like, well, bodyboarding was his job. So.
Yeah, I was working part-time, but I think that was the first year I went to Hawaii, came back. That was when we stayed at the log cabins place.
Oh, yeah. Y2K buggy, yeah.
That was. Yeah, that was. And I came back from that year and I was just like, oh, I'm not going to go back to school. That's it.
So we still school that when we were there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And that was kind of it. I just wasn't interested. I think I was pretty lucky to pass the year before just with days off. I was yeah, I just wasn't into it. So that was it for school.
Yeah. And tell us about, so you were living at Will Cox's where I went.
Yeah, yep. Chad Jackson and Ben Sukanik and I were living in there. Winny was there for quite a long period as well. And we were just, in this little caravan that they had. And then we moved into they had this cool, real original house down by the stream there that they built before his dad was a builder before they built their main house. And so we moved into that for a while. And it was just all time best, like sickest times.
Yeah. What do you remember? Like much drinking, much partying, much surfing, much grape picking?
Yeah, the grape picking and the pruning was like I still remember this one day. Like I think we ruined it for a lot of people for a while. That we were up there, just pruning the vines and all that, and obviously like just young, pretty keen to get out of there doing a shit job. And, I remember Moffat snapping his like things on the. I was actually working like about a few hundred meters down the line from him, and I could just see the vine vibrating. Oh, how's this thing? And looked up and he was just smashing his like his snippers on it. Oh, it was too funny. But yeah, that's what we did just to earn a bit of cash. And then pretty much when the surf was good, you could just go surfing and not rock up. So it was ideal for us.
Yeah.
Not too much partying and stuff like that.
Just focused on bodyboarding.
Yeah.
It just meant so much to everyone, hey. It's like all we focused on, hey.
And like on the days that it was good, you're up early surfing all day. But even when it wasn't, you'd still get up early and go try and surf somewhere.
Yeah.
But it did mean so much to so many people back then.
I remember this box session day, that one with Jonesy shooting at the channel.
Yeah. I remember Jonesy, like obviously pretty big wig photographer kind of thing, and obviously was an ex-professional bodyboarder. I had his old photos of him charging Waimea and stuff up on the wall. I remember seeing him, not so much when he was, still surfing for Manta and stuff like that, but when he was over taking photos, I'd just be like, oh man, he was like a big wig shooting all the best dudes to be going around with him kind of thing. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. And it's like if you're out in a surf and he's out there, it's your moment or opportunity to get a shot in a magazine or something. Because back then that's what like your sponsors loved it. You get paid incentives.
And even just not to like, if you're surfing good, at least you just didn't want to be a kook kind of thing, because he'd be like, oh, that's it, you're done. Like he's never going to go on a trip on you. He's never going to want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
But yeah. it was pretty all time, Mark. Like you obviously spent a lot of time down there, a lot of different crew, even like the Custom X guys when they came over from Hawaii and all that, like all the different crew that were coming over there.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome times down there, you know, especially through like April, May kind of thing when the surf was pumping.
Yeah. Has the quality of the slow-mo back in these days.
Yeah.
I was just looking at that was the slow-mo wave of Tobes.
Even the size of the cameras and all that, the house, like, because they're all custom housings and all that stuff, eh? Because you couldn't just...
No GoPros around.
No GoPros.
Is that Beau Day?
Don't know, but he used to rip.
This, I remember the intro and then this first section, there was all a little bit sort of mashed together. It was kind of a big variety of footage. And this is, there was a lot of questions I do get asked was Jackass around and all that when you were doing this? But it was more these guys, CKY, which was kind of before Jackass.
Bam Margie.
The skater guys. So they were Camp Kill Yourself. And they just had funny, crazy skate videos. And that's definitely what because we were skating and bodyboarding. That's what we were drawing our inspiration from. So this was a trip from we were living in Margs and we went to Bustleton. We just dressed up in these fat suits, which I think they did on CKY. Or they had some skit where someone was skating fat, which gave us the idea.
I still remember the old trip, you know, because obviously there's not much in Margs, and then you know you go up to Busso or something for a Macca's run, and it'd be like a big thing. I still remember going up there with Benny Pateman, and they were doing the bin bowling on the way back. It was the best trip.
Yeah, man, I did not remember that guy's belly being so big. This lady, she was adorable. She was like, thought we were genuinely lost and couldn't find the ocean. She was just trying to send us back to the ocean.
So good. He's held you up.
Yeah. And Hardballs, hey, just loves stuff like this. He's like, what's it called? Method acting. You know, people just get into their roles.
Loves the awkward situations, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, here we go. Full stitch up from his brother Brad. Hey. I'm Ryan Hardy and I'm fucking drunk.
Look how young Hardballs is there.
So that was Ryan's twin brother Brad, and that was the real Hardballs. Straight into some North Point where he just owns it.
Yeah, I reckon him out there, you know, like, because back then it was probably the heaviest wave, you know, that people were surfing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a bit of a local crowd and all that, but he used to stand out there probably more than anyone, I reckon.
Yeah. I got the Hardy poster behind us from this day, photos, but it's sentimental value to me because that Raiders jumper was my brother's. It was his favorite jacket, so I've still got it somewhere. I think it's buried in the roof somewhere. But Hardy was repping my brother's jumper or jacket.
I remember this comp too. I actually remember when I was real young, they had a comp out at North Point. It was actually, you were in the comp.
Yeah.
Started at Cobbles and it was like pretty big, probably like 6 to 8 foot. And I think I was just down there watching. I would have been maybe like 12 or 13. And, you know, that, like Wingnut and all those guys were in it, and the swell picked up and it got moved to North Point.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you remember that comp. And I think Wingnut was in the final and this guy Marcabella won, and it was like pumping like 6 to 8 foot. People were allowed to surf.
Good name job. I remember them.
And I just remember standing on the rocks just going like, what are these guys doing? It's just massive, and they were just ripping. It was so sick.
Yeah. I think that's the very first comp I went in.
Yeah.
It was like a state round. I remember
seeing you out at Cobbles and just going like, what's this dude doing?
And I just remember as a Grom, it was kind of, though, hadn't really surfed waves that size. I remember my mum just had taken me down and I did like a beach entry, and I remember I think it was James Clark.
Yeah.
Or Thursky. And I remember him just going like, you sure you want to go out there? And I was just amped, but like I didn't know what I was in for. Like, I didn't know about the cheese grater or nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say like Cobbles, like if you know the wave and you surf there heaps, it's probably all right. But like just to rock up, like I'd never even seen it before. I was just like, what are these guys doing? Like it's just like reef right on the inside.
It was massive.
It was huge.
That shows how big, like, you don't want to be at North Point. You don't want to be at Cobbles if North Point's breaking out.
Yeah, they delayed and then just went to like North straight off the back of Cobbles. I was just like, there is this.
But that's where someone like Hardballs, he's just from this young age, just comfortable in any ocean conditions.
Yeah.
He just was, it's like a duck in water, that old saying, eh?
Yep.
And now, it seems it's been passed on through, like, his brother Gene obviously was a waterman, and now Gene's daughter's Willow on that. She just won the state championship. And
just super comfortable when it gets big. Like, they're just not. I remember even Brett at Pipe and all that first year we went. They just it's their second home.
Kings Park, Perth. Such a nice vantage point up there.
So good. I was up there the other night for those skylight things they got going on up there. It's cool.
God, hardballs at North Point was just a recipe for a pit, a spin in, a flip out. And this is sort of Hardy around this era was sort of spinning in at box, hey?
Yeah, and people, on the takeoff and stuff like that, yeah.
People are just like, how far can he take this?
Yeah. And pretty hard, like, if no one else is doing it, especially in those waves that obviously he was surfing at a lot, but it's not like someone like Stewart's come over and gone, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing stuff that no one else could do. It's not easy to do that if no one else is doing it, kind of thing, but he was doing it everywhere.
Yeah. He was the epitome of, there was no stone unturned. Like, he was practicing spinners on chairs that spun and trampolines, perfecting his legs, doing backflips. So it's no wonder, hey, that
and he was in the water.
You paid that much attention to detail, and then you're surfing a lot. It's
It's Benuk.
Benuk, top of town.
That's the skate park would have existed then, hey?
Yeah, but it was way different. It's not the current skate park. Benuk.
Mate,
the Venus flytrap would have come out not long after this. And this that there is Jack Quigley. So he needs a big shout out for this movie, because after the first movie, like, I had an email at the end of it saying anyone that wants to submit any footage or whatever, this is my email, send me footage. And Jack Quigley grabbed it and just ran with it. And look at him go. He was a lot of people's favourite. What could we call him? Character of the movie, because he just went fucking balls to the wall. That's like, that hurts rolling downstairs.
Dude, for sure.
And I still bump into him. I saw him at Yellow the other day.
I've seen him around. Yeah,
he's actually very switched on. Obviously his father was quite well known. Big brain on him, lawyer, etc. So Jack's definitely got all them smarts too, hey, and he's doing really well for himself.
Yeah, it's good to see.
And Kingy, God, he's funny. You just give him a guitar and he'd start freestyling, hey.
Just loves it. I think I saw him on a cruise or something the other day up there singing. Like, he's just, loves it. Muir, another. There's just so many talented guys. Looking back.
Do you recognise where that is? That
at South Oz?
Yeah, but where we filmed him singing this song. It's in a loft in.
I reckon, in your.
Was that at my house? Yeah.
That's my guitar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Got the Star Surf logo. It was your brother's. But he just there was no practice to this. That's just literally grab a guitar, press record, film him, and there's no like second take or anything. Hey. But this is one of the rare trips. Like, I did like to film most of my footage and be part of it, but Kingy actually went on this trip, and I forget who it was.
I was just trying to think who went with them and shot all this
stuff.
Was
it Big Gav? Like, were they taking turns even?
Might have been Big Gav.
But Muir, Kingy, and they were just scoring these empty beaches, and it was too good not to put in the movie. Hey,
there was so many places like that where people were starting to just go to as well through this era, I reckon, where like people were traveling to lots of different places and discovering waves, or like working out with local dudes when they were good and kind of hitting it. But you'd go somewhere like that and no one would be around. Like, it just doesn't seem like that with, and obviously the weather wasn't so predictable back then with, as it is now.
Without the old smartphone.
Like, so a lot of these sessions, if you didn't take someone with you, no one would shoot, kind of thing.
Yeah. And they're all just ripping, eh? Hard not to have a good time when it's like 6 foot beaches with no one else out.
Just pumping.
Yeah, but a lot of these sessions, hey, you just...
Yeah, they'd go down and like no one would you'd be like, oh, mate, we had the best surf, like this random spot.
Kingy. He's doing his real estate now, so he's had a huge change in lifestyle. Hey, he got right into his surfing for a while, and now it looks like he's back sort of splitting it between bodyboarding and surfing. Hey?
He's always been pretty like I obviously spent a bit of time in Port Macquarie too, and they're so big on bodyboarding there. Super sick to see. I was actually surprised that so many of them got into surfing because none of like all the old guys when I was there, I was still, probably around this time. Like there was full, like there'd be 3 generations of bodyboarders out there, kind of thing. Like all
started with
different
Beau, then Toby Graph, and
all those dudes would be out there dominating lineups. The Groms and all that would be like sitting in their own little spot. And I've been back there since, and there's a lot more. Like you wouldn't see any surfers in the water, like none.
Yeah. Their beloved little breakwall. Hey, Kingy's fighting to save that.
Yeah, I think he's.
Do you have a win?
I'd say he would have got a win on that. But yeah, so many sick guys. Like so many guys came out of that area. It's pretty mental.
There we go, quickly again.
Is that the dome?
That was the old joint, Hungry Jacks and all that in the city.
Surely there's a compo claiming that.
And this was real memorable trip with Custom X, Adrian Hibner and Winny and Boothie Ball.
To Sumatra?
Yeah. Or to Lakey
Peak. Yeah.
How's that old school TV? Like that just it's got a 4x3.
I love the reactions on some of the because like nowadays like people would just be stepping over them, like just going nothing's happening.
Yeah. That's like genuine concern, from people like, oh my God, he's lost his television.
Lost his TV.
See the old school cars and everything, They're huge with just the rejected Whitey, the mini sharker.
Mini sharker.
Is this old Cobbs? Oh no, that was Z-Box, was it?
Might have been Z-Box.
This is
I think Thorto's son rips
on the surfboard at Chopes.
Chopes, yeah, he's still in Tahiti.
Thorto was a freaking tube pig,
Yeah, big time.
And obviously Tobes with the windmill.
Yeah,
the paddle power. This is a little left-hand beachy. This was one of my first sessions with that camera. You could just see me there. I don't know. Maybe it was Andy Lawrence filmed the land angle.
Oh, yeah.
And I was shooting water. I bought that camera from Rick Raffici.
Man, he was I feel like he's been shooting
surfing
for like
Rick, did all the Taj videos.
Must be like 30 plus years.
Yeah. I probably got that because he thought 3D was coming in big and he spent all his money on 3D cameras. Sold all his other ones.
You've got to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he's still got the 3D ones now, waiting for it to take off.
Because you were still surfing a fair bit back here too, Wongy, weren't you?
Yeah.
So obviously mixing up your time between filming, getting other crew to film and surfing as well. So talk us through that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the sessions, it would depend on, I guess, who's around.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I could get someone to film, I'd prefer that and then go out and film myself. But yeah, if there was no one else around, I'd just sit there and film. Or occasionally we'd have like a rotation. I remember heaps of sessions. I
love the rotate. Like
you, Chatty, Hardy, we'd be out budgie. And we
Mufflers it was a big one where you'd like be locked, you'd have your little slot and you just go and do it.
But that's what blows me away. I recently went back to this wave and the cars, you couldn't even get a car park. You had to start. It was like 30 dudes in the water and like 20 cars. But all these times we'd go there, we'd have it maybe Taj, maybe one or two other surfers, and just us. Hey,
I remember like when we first started going there, you'd be like, people would be like, "Oh, hopefully Jake Paddo's not down there and see you." Like you'd almost turn around and go back because like you didn't want anyone to. Nuts.
It's so funny to think as well, like around these times we would go film these waves and we'd think like Taj and Pat and all these guys are just on a whole different level to us. But it wasn't until I did a live pod with the Swelling guys and Pato's brother was up there talking.
Oh, yeah.
And just hearing the way he would go to Hawaii and live, like he wasn't on the dollars you think.
Yep.
And just to hear his perspective, he's like slumming it and he's like Pato, Ant-Man. He's winning massive comps and shit, but he's like living off like potatoes and no money and shit. It's kind of like not too far from what the reality was with the bodyboarders.
Yeah. But just looking in, you just think they're like just killing it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Full-time big wigs doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Man, I still remember that day. Remember that day Shane Doran got that bomb at North Point, that real big closeout.
Yeah.
And I think that must have been before this, because I hadn't been to Hawaii or seen any of those guys before that, and I was just like, man, this dude just like seen Slater or like some Hollywood guy like that's just not even real. I was just like, what the hell? He's just charging like him and Taj are out there, just huge, just ripping.
But I didn't even think Tajan or them like even knew who we were or take notice of us. But it's not till like years later when we're adults and they're like, yeah, we used to watch all your movies or whatever. And it's such a spin out. Like I wish back here we knew that they, well, maybe they didn't, and then they got to know us later. When
maybe not.
But
because Tajan, like he was big time, especially back then.
Yeah.
Well, still is, but yeah, pretty much changed. So.
It's a North Point. There would have been a few Snapdragons around there. This is just, I think this footage of all this pool stuff was.
Is that on the trip too?
That was the same trip in Indo, but I think we were in Bali for a day or two before we went there.
Ball. Well, here we are.
Good old Winny. Hey, look at him go.
Ginger.
yeah.
I get the feeling that he could have done anything, eh? Like if he could just pick any sport and have been good at it.
And I think, did you see like Freddie then? This was me, young 20-year-old me, not sort of reading the room. Like I didn't really, like Freddie's such a unique guy.
He would have been awkward on that.
I was trying to bring him into what I was doing. Like I just threw that bit of food at him. And like I didn't even really realize it at the time, but now as an adult looking back, I can see his reaction and how often he was. But at the time, I'm just in my own world. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with Fred? Like, he's such a gentle soul. My pranks and all that would definitely he'd want to distance himself from it. But at the same time, I think he enjoys people just sort of living their best life. Yeah. So I guess he just had to put up with it because he was stuck on the trip with us, wasn't he?
I think when he just won a big comp, maybe down at it wasn't Kiama, Mystics. I think he just won the Mystics comp like a little bit before this.
Yeah.
And me and Benuk were staying with him over there at Curl with his brothers, and like we didn't really know him too much before then. And I was like, man, this dude just rips. And then like all of a sudden he's drop kneeing. I'm like, he's like shreds drop knee. And then he went down, won that comp. And then I think this trip was soon after that. I was just like, man, he's just everywhere. Like, what's he been doing? Like,
and he was like Virtue around this time where his improvement was almost noticeable surf to surf.
Yeah.
Like he just started skyrocketing. Hey, like once things start to click with like speed and all that. But I remember, around these times, he was just so consistent.
Yep.
And Ben Hall, man, such an underrated rider. He shredded. Yep. And this trip I remember as well was still, I was like the only filmer, but obviously there's a fair bit of footage of me and like Winny and Ball. I think even Freddie was going in and taking turns. There's a tower there where you can set up. I haven't been there back ever since. I think it's the only
I was going to say it'd be so packed there now.
Yeah. I'm assuming the tower's still there.
But even Fred Booth back, like he was just like massive, like Hawaiian dude, just, He
was like so many people's favorite surfer.
Yeah.
So I think Custom X had like this sort of, I think because of Fred, it was looked at as kind of a cool sort of a brand. And me and Winnie, I think around this time just had our WXW model.
Yeah.
So we had like this joint model, which seems so weird now. But I think we were filming for that. And Adrian Heibner there was sort of the Custom X team manager for Australia. So he was kind of organising this trip, and that was good to see him on board, wrecking the local vegetation in the rental car.
Setting the standard for everyone else. So imagine how loose the trips were with like even go back not early 90s, but like mid 90s with the Moray guys, with Nugget and all those, like when they had big bucks and there was just no one around. They're properly like just
That was trashing the rental cars. But around this year, because I was living in Margs, Nugget had actually moved there, and he was not trying to go sober or anything like that, but he was a little sexual assault there. He was kind of, I guess trying to not get his life in order or anything like that, but he was trying to surf more, get off the booze. And for a while there, he really was killing it. Hey?
Yeah. Oh, he's another one of those super talented dudes that just could like not surf for a couple of years and come out and just rip.
And he was still like,
he was still
inventing moves. He was bringing out the Diana around this year. I reckon the Diana was invented, and he was like
in on everyone at North Point, just
and shredding. Like
same at Pipe. I've never seen him at a Pipe dropping in on dudes, and he's just
always such a talented dude.
Yep. But I think he needed to get out of Cronulla at that time. He just something fresh. But
he still pops up now, hey, every now and then. He's still surfing. You still hear stories. People run into him, and this.
There we go.
Yeah, probably not the smartest thing to do in a foreign country. Hey, just start trashing the joint. But
culture shock. Maybe they do.
Trying to get me to roll the ball. I remember.
Wardy.
Safe to say we were kicked out and not welcome back. But it always gets me, hey, messing up in a foreign country. Like, it's such a.
It could turn so bad so quick, but it just never seemed to, did it?
This Chucky. He's upset. He accidentally fell over. And quickly again, just tearing the city apart. There's a veteran on the stairs, hey?
Should have been a stunt. Man.
I think I wasn't too keen to be filmed.
Just enjoying his little Bali holiday. Peace and quiet.
This was our little Cronulla connection.
Group. Yeah, the boys were pretty tight with the Cronulla boys, weren't they?
Yeah. This is, I believe, out at Cornell, and sort of
Williams, Ball.
Incriminating sort of stuff here, eh? So, but again, a different time without social media and all that.
Yeah.
So that's like, I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but
I think 20 were in the clear,
But that
he is.
Nugget, speak of the devil.
Diana Ross. He's one in a million.
Such a cool dynamic as well with all the younger Cronulla guys coming up, looking up to all the guys out Shark Island, like Wingnut, all these guys shredding. And
big hierarchy, eh?
Yeah.
Between those, like, I remember, like, Nugget would just, if he saw any one of those guys on a wave, he would just drop in on them no matter what. Like, just no matter what. And I was just like,
But at the same time, the Cronulla guys just still have that crazy respect for them all.
Yeah.
And I haven't been out to Ireland in a long time, but I remember a swell last year, and it was like Billiams, Ball, Lester, all these guys that were the younger guys, they're out there still getting bombs.
Yeah,
it's sick.
Millsy.
Yeah. Millsy was a real nice technical rider, eh?
Yeah.
And Billiams. He came and watched my Ninja Warrior all them years later, hey?
Yeah, sick.
And Ball. So cool. I'm hoping, we've got with Tension 11 coming out hopefully next year. We've got an Up in Joke show coming out in Sydney in DY September 9th. And I'm hoping to get all these guys together again.
Oh, we so
I've already messaged Ben and Toby Player, so we're getting a crew together. So this is like good timing to be sort of reminiscing about all this. So hopefully I'm gonna put together like a little Tension reunion clip with all these guys. So should be a good party. So everyone come out to that. It's at the RSL.
And Toby's still been surfing heaps, eh?
Yeah, I want to. I've been messaging him. I want to actually, pick up the phone and talk to him. Obviously, he started his bodyboard shop, and And how about you? So at the moment you're in construction. You've got Hughes construction.
That's it.
How's that life changes? Hey,
oh no,
I'm here slinging gin, getting back into movies. You've got 3
Done
kids.
The full circle, 3 kids.
I got 2 kids. So a fair bit's happened, between now and then.
Man, it's just such a sick time though. Back, like even just looking back on how there wasn't all the all the phones and all that kind of stuff. It was just like you'd go on a trip and it would just be the best, like whether you got waves or not, they'd just be the best times.
Yeah. There's Andy, BVD, the old skater crew then. Hey,
yeah.
Now I look at that and it seems like such a boomer thing, but you're like, oh, you could land on your neck, break your neck. That day, you're
never cross your mind.
Yeah. You're just doing
never
flips and like you don't even sort of think about it. Like that there, you could easily slip over and crack your head. We could wreck some rush. I feel like that guy might have been KGB and we got off lightly. He was clicking though. More Kingy and Beau day. Beau was like one of the first sort of guys to start pushing the South Coast, hey?
Yeah. Yep.
All this footage would pop up of him down like these waves and he's just surfing perfect wedges, doing massive cross-leg reverse airs, pulling in like deep on these pits.
Big Nugget. Like I reckon he was one of the first guys to go down there and with like and shoot and stuff. I don't know what. Like I don't remember anyone doing it before him.
Yeah, and I think they like had a lot of sessions that weren't even recorded.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah,
pre-filming.
Sure.
Yeah, all Buntos, all these Tamarama guys, and they were onto it pretty early. Hey.
Yep.
And obviously, shredding. What was the last you heard of? I don't know if we talked about it in the first director's cut I did with Hardy, but I think the last we heard of him, he was sort of like banana farming up.
Beau, he was a fiery for a while. I think up near Rawlins still catches up with him a little bit. He's like up, he's up near the New South Wales Queensland border. I think he's got a big property up in there. Yeah, and like he's got his farm going on. I think he's got a couple of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but he was always pretty quiet kind of dude, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's mysterious for sure. Very smart, and obviously very good surfer. Who was what? So this what year did Kingy get his first world title?
This would have been before Kingy got his first.
Was it around 2002?
I reckon. Yeah, it might have been a little bit after that.
You know, I'm going to claim 2000. I reckon Barcelos got that one off this year.
Yeah,
title.
Maybe. Yep.
I reckon he was world champ at this stage. And then it would have been Tamaga maybe the following year.
Yep.
The Brazilians went on a little hot streak for a while, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Then Dre both might have snuck one in.
2 or 3 in.
Yeah. But Kingy, up there, hey.
I think that the first year Kingy won was the Tahiti year. Remember when he got that sick pit at Tahiti? He was covered riptide that didn't look like he was going to come up.
And he didn't know he was going to make it, and then he accidentally made it.
And I reckon that was a couple of years. That was like 2 or 3 years after the Tahiti skins. I'm going to say 2004.
It was Kingy's first title year?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
just throw it out there. But yeah.
Just a little
back. Yes, like Beau Supers at like up in Indo.
Yeah. Just like hunting barrels everywhere.
No one around. Getting his little 30-second pits.
Just runners. And this is more leftover footage from that South Oz Beachy, hey?
Yeah, it was pretty like I reckon around this time that like Kingy Ben player Hardy rivalry was probably like really starting to come into its own.
What board's that Kingy's on right there? Is that a Rio?
I want to say Fangs, but it's definitely not. No, I reckon it was those Ben Sevis. What were they?
BSDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was for a while, hey?
Yeah.
And Beau, what was he riding? Science?
Stuart,
Science. Was Science? When did? Yeah. So he was an early Science guy, hey?
Yep.
That's obvious. Like, there you go. For Stuart to sort of back you, you're in elite sort of company, hey, with guys like Rawlins and Tanner.
I was going to say, like, I reckon Beau was probably the first guy before Rawlins to go to Science.
Yeah.
Like, he was probably
that's what I mean. Like, it's an honor to be sort of,
Yep. Solid unit, wasn't he?
Just pitted out.
Yep.
And this was like a rare moment of genuine Kingy where he's talking to the camera, like saying how happy he was.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really get his honest feelings too often, eh? And this is, obviously
we're all in Margs
and we hired the bus and we were doing a day trip to
Apsy.
Yeah, we're going to the Royal Show. And this, I don't even know.
Who hires a bus to 20 dudes like that?
I know. And was it ball driving? He had his license. This is actually underrated. So we just freaking
rocked into someone's party, didn't we?
We just randomly drove down any back street and we just said, all right, pull up to this house, we'll film and we'll run in there and pretend like it's a party. We just went in guns blazing and the guy was the biggest fucking legend you could ever throw a house party on. He just ate it up and like was incredible. Hey, and as we're leaving, he's like, give him hell. Go get him, boys. Like he was like, I'm surprised he didn't come on the bus with us.
Imagine.
Oh, there we go. Piss out the bus on the freeway.
Statue's limitation's gone.
Yeah. And this is like what the fuck was that, man? It become our outro in our pod. Good old Winny. That was down at Prev, hey?
Yeah.
I think there was some events that probably might go. I guess we can kind of talk about them, but it kind of involved some pancakes being eaten by people and the pancakes may or may not have been used as something similar to toilet paper.
Statue's limitation.
And they may have been fed to someone. And then after they were fed to someone, they were informed of what the alternate use was of the pancakes. And it didn't go down well, did it?
It did not go down well. I think, was Winnie living in WA?
He was living there. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
When he was a bit, he was kind of. And Ranky moved over as well, hey?
Yep.
It was kind of a little hotspot, hey, around the time because I guess there was so many people shooting and like filming and stills and it was just the waves.
Yeah, it's pretty. And
we had such good little community,
lots of
hey?
Dudes, still getting, and lots of other guys were coming from overseas and all that. It was
the hotspot.
Yeah.
Well, it felt like that anyway, living there.
For sure.
With all the people visiting and that. And then obviously, when a comp would come. Was that a drop roll to a topless chick at Padang, I think? Why not? But yeah, this is Winnie. He could have had the best single section for this movie, but instead he's got like amazing waves spread out through every section. Yeah, this is Joel, which is who's in his hot streak, hey?
Yeah, big time.
He had some crazy record of surfing consecutive days.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but it was right up there. And yeah, like looking on his Instagram now, he's riding a longer, it's almost like a soft top surfboard, which must give him better control and a bit more foam to float on. But he's sort of drawing the old Ranky lines. Hey, I saw him doing a couple of sick halves and that. So
it must be the weirdest feeling, like, because obviously he's still got that flow and stuff on the. It's probably almost like better for him in the ocean than what it is on land.
Yeah.
But it's so sick just to see him back in the water and all time.
Obviously, that's old school womb. I swear we had it on Day of Days. Hey, it's kind of the wave you want to go when it's an in between swell. You'll check everywhere. And it's either too big, too small everywhere, and then that is the day you want to go to work.
For sure.
And it'll just be firing. It's like the last resort.
Last chance dance.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Was that Virtue?
I don't know. It looked like, I'm not sure.
I should know, eh? But obviously, North Point. You could go north's morning or afternoon.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. The wind would come in or whatever, and you get the bodyboarders would kind of start tearing it up from lunchtime onwards, where the crowds would go in and it might get a bit choppy or whatever. But
a little bit of south in it, hey, and it was just fine. Like, yeah.
Ooey Ranger was the old nickname back in these days.
Yeah. Where did that come from? The
surely you know.
20 years.
Is it from Nugget? It was, hey?
It might have been from Nugget.
It was Nugget.
Nugget.
I think Nugget was probably just like...
Yeah, ooh-wee.
Yeah. Good old Nugget, eh? I've got the funniest memories of him. Like, it felt to me like he'd gone, say, like months and months without a drink. And then he'd have one slip up and you'd see him at the Tav in Margs. And I just remember him like out of nowhere, he's just dangling his balls and dick in a pint of beer in front of chicks. Like he wants a drink and just like, it would just go from 0 to 100 so fast.
Probably never got kicked out though. Hey? He's just one of those guys.
Oh, kicked out every time. And then in a fight, like, but back in half an hour later, like pleading his case. Chris Bryan was a pretty significant figure this day. Hey,
Yeah,
he was on fire. There he goes.
Loves the awkward.
Because everyone knows him now for all his sort of phantom footage, his super slow-mo footage. People don't even realise that he used to bodyboard.
Yeah,
and not only used to bodyboard, used to drop knee, used to be sponsored.
Yeah, big time. Kuda Lines, he was their guy.
He was. Look at him here. Taking it on. And Mason Rose back in these days as well was like the style lord. He was real big into his breakdancing. So there was right up Mason's alley. Hey, I think he got up on stage too, didn't he? And had a dance off. I think he smoked the dude.
Lester.
The style lord, hey.
Yep.
They just all did a recent trip to Fergus's camp.
Oh,
hey.
yeah, I saw that.
Secret Sumatra.
So good.
Saw all them there. It was like, looks like they're having the ball. Sean Evans, Nicky Scott, everyone.
Yeah. Any player.
Yeah, can't wait to see Benny.
Oh.
Have you talked to him or Winny in recent times?
Not super recently, nah.
They all seem busy.
Yeah.
Multiple kids.
Yeah, just doing different things. I'd imagine Benny would still be surfing quite a bit.
Yeah. A lot of the like we did a pod with Letty Mortensen, a lot of the newer school surfers that grew up around Avalon and all that. Yeah. They've all got mad respect for Benny. Like chatting to him, Guy, Willamont, they just did their surf movie and all that. They all like really look up to Ben and Tobes, hey?
Mate, they're like the Hardy version from the Northern Beaches kind of thing. Like whenever it's massive and all that, they would be out there just going.
Yeah. Do you remember our 96 Nationals state rounds and the rumours would go around about
big time,
Ben Player out at Whaley Wedge surfing, like doing flips on 10-foot wedges and shit. It's like folklore, hey.
Mate, they would do. I remember the first time I ever saw those boys. We were surfing North Point.
Yeah.
And I'd gone down there with Hardy and it was like massive and onshore and closing out. And Toby, Ben and Ryan were out there just like charging. And I was just like, what the hell are these maniacs doing? Like trying to get pitted and straightening out and just getting flogged and doing massive rolls and all that. And I was just like, Jesus, like, how are you ever going to be able to do that? Like, it just seems like I was like right near the end. Set would come through and close out the bay and I'd just be like, just swimming for my life.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to Triggs like a couple of days later and it was still big and stormy. It must have been like 3 or 4 foot. And I was just like, oh, how good's this? Like, you're just going to go out there and it just seems like nothing. And I just nearly drowned. I was just like, I'm like nearly drowning. It's 3 foot. Like, what? How are you ever going to be able to do that kind of stuff? Like, and they were just like, it was like nothing to them. Yeah.
And how though? Like, that's you at 17 thinking that, and then because I remember always, I don't know what age you started bodyboarding, but you were the technical little younger Grom. Like when we go to nationals or team comps, like you were just competition-wise just killing it. You'd always so technical and like you'd always sit in the pocket, spin, roll, pit, and you were known for your like brilliance in these small waves. At what point, like I don't know how many, it must be like 10 years after this, checking around 27, where all of a sudden you're getting the best pits in the world at the right?
Yeah, I reckon like that time when we were at North Point, I reckon I probably would have only been about 14 or 15 then. Like I was still a bit of a grom, but I was just like way out of my league. But I was just a habitat of, like creature of your habitat. It was all Perth.
Growing up at Gravis,
that was
point
just,
left.
Yeah, that was just what you had. And like you look at the surf now and you're just like, well, I can't even believe I was like going out there to surf it.
Yeah.
And then obviously once you start hanging out with those other guys and that, it's just a slow progression, I guess.
Would you almost say, because what I gather is you got so good with your rail work and how comfortable you were on a wave that you knew technically you could ride these massive waves, them huge pits, and in your head you were like, I'm probably going to make this wave because the wave's pretty perfect? Is that
I reckon like that definitely helps. There's a lot of times, like depending on where we were, and you would have known too, like sometimes if I really liked the wave and thought it was like a real good wave, it made it a lot easier for me.
Yep.
No matter like what the size was. But if it was a bit like, if I just wasn't into it, it wouldn't matter. I just couldn't surf that wave good.
Yeah.
And that's just how I was. I wasn't one of those guys that would just go and like paddle into anything no matter what. But if I thought the wave was good, I kind of would like want to surf it good.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. That's like Chopu, hey? Like you just know that the wave is perfect.
Yeah, or even like remember when we went to Wangpu? Like I just remember looking at that wave and going like, that wave is fucking sick. Like you could surf that. You know, it'd kind of like come in and almost like you could get into it early and then it would just drop out and like I was just like, far out. You can get in early and just
Has these up north trips. The Tomb and Slater's Right. We were just having
the best times.
Just camping and just so you couldn't put this in a movie these days. At least
Gav. Oh,
no. It's almost like a more intense teabag. What would you describe a more intense teabag? It's kind of like what was that?
I don't know. That's just knobs straight on nose.
That's my old little unit in the top of town. That looked like premium grade rump steak there.
It did. Good size too. Probably $100 worth of meat nowadays.
Me and Virtue with a little split section.
So sick.
This would have been like, not that I could hang with Virtue's waves, but like around from this point onwards, Virtue just went next level.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd put my waves with him in a section after this movie.
He really after that, you know, after he did well in that pipe comp.
Yeah, no friends days.
Yeah, we just started launching. It just kind of, because like before then he was pretty good at like kind of like barrel riding and power surfing and all that. But I think after that he was just like, I'm just going to go to the air, like I'm just going to launch, and he's just went nuts. Like was hitting huge sections, and it just became his thing. And like over the next couple of years, he really made it like he was like the Jeff Hubbard of Australia, wasn't he?
Yeah. Fully. That this was that womb session. It just was so fruitful. I remember that day we got so many usable waves from it. That's gas left, I believe.
Not many lefts for the old WA guys. That was the only thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from up north.
This is basically a section of it's all WA, isn't it? This would be I reckon Nikki Scott filmed a lot of this. I remember their mufflers sessions. She was filming all that. Remember Virtue's, what was that car he had? That little tan colour
Corolla. What is his little Corolla?
Yeah, that was how we were cruising.
Yeah.
That thing was getting a muffler somehow. What car did you have around this time?
I think we had a little Corolla too.
Who had their license and was driving?
Benuk. Yeah.
I reckon I had a VH Commodore, do you reckon, around this time?
Yeah, I reckon. We used to go siphoning fuel. And I swear, like, more often than not, we'd spend more fuel, like, trying to get around looking for cars to siphon than what we'd get.
So you just travel with a hose and a jerry can?
How it started was we used to have a jerry can because, like, we'd always run out of fuel. And like, rather than just filling the car up and all the time, like you'd just always be like, oh yeah, but we could just like, we'll get from North Point to Margs and then we'll go into town after that and get fuel. And like, we'd always run out. So we had so dumb, had a jerry can of fuel just in case we ran out at all times. And then we just started like, we'll just siphon and fill the jerry can.
Yeah. So this is old school cars, where they just had the caps. You just
top it off. Yep. And you just suck and then either go into the jerry can or from car to car.
Would you go car to car?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, you'd have to cap it.
And did you ever get caught or anything?
Nah, I never got caught.
Nighttime? Or just daytime robberies as well?
Yeah, nighttime.
It's genius. But nowadays you can't really get away with it because cars, the fuel things are,
Here he is.
Nothing like a good dacking, eh?
Oh.
Nugget purse fangs. This is prime Nugget.
Look at him.
It was so weird because like me, Chucky, Nudge and Nugget would just be hanging out, driving him around. And he was kind of like a hero to ours, but at the same time he's one of the boys. We could dack him and shit because he was so playful still.
And he was like, you forget how big those like guys were back from the Moray days and all that.
I would have gone to his coaching clinic.
Yeah.
I didn't get him as my coach, thankfully.
Who'd you get?
I got Jay Real.
Did ya?
Yeah.
I got Barney.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Sick. Fuck yeah, Barney.
Yeah. I remember thinking how big that was when they were like, when news came out that they were coming to Triggs and all, like Stewart and all those guys.
Yeah.
Like Bullet and it's nuts to think how big that was. But I was just like, can't believe they're just gonna be walking along the sand like Stewart and all that. He was all over the news and everything. It was nuts.
Yeah. And was that Scarborough, hey?
Yeah. Still ripping, Stewart. I saw some footage of him the other day. One of these wave parks.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. And body surfing.
Body surfing and full proper pitted.
That style, hey, with them cross leg spins. He releases the legs a little bit later. Oh, incredible.
And he's like, he'd be close to 60 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still going.
Nugget just looking around in the pit. He was known for he snuck in his little hand drags in the comps, Nugget. We're on to you, mate.
No secrets here.
That might have been no, it was a different comp at Cobbles than the one we were talking about
like
earlier.
5 times the size of that. I don't know whether I was 5 times smaller or something. It was huge. There he is.
Is that the Diana or the golf? Is it the same move? I've never even worked it out.
Diana, he goes the other way.
So that's a golf. Or is that a Diana?
Oh, I don't know. Look at the speed on him though.
Yeah, and the line, eh?
Yeah.
Man, this Arvo was so good. We raced there, knowing it was going to be on. And surfed till dark.
Love those cutties coming out of the pocket.
There it is. He refused to come in, eh?
Why would you? Look at it.
He was just getting bomb after bomb.
Got to be one of the best waves in Australia, though, North Point, when it's on, hey?
Yeah, for sure. And look, all these sessions at box and all that.
Yeah.
Just recently been out box. It's kind of, it was fun to be out there again.
Yeah,
hey? And seeing the next gen, like Chad McGregor's son, Max McGregor, was out there. And a couple of the old school guys, the only old school guy really out there was Shano.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were just sitting. There's obviously when the surf comp's on, the surfers are getting a lot of the waves. But if the bodyboarders just took their time, they were getting sets.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, pretty cool environment.
Kind of always been the way, hey, out there.
Yeah. Wonder where Nugget's living right now.
I thought he had a place in Marg still. I know he's
FIFO maybe?
Yeah.
Working away.
I feel like he's FIFO.
I've been trying to tee up a pod with him for a long while. So
I feel like you just run into him at the shop somewhere in like a couple of weeks. Like he's just the kind of dude he just pops up. Far out has that one.
Yeah. And Virtue as well, he's right into his golf, but he is coming on the pod or possibly on the next director's cut. So stay tuned for that one.
Get him on.
Yeah. This Chatty Jackson looks like he means business here.
Jump rope. You stay always down. What did the sign say?
I can't even remember. It's a good ass. Oh, yeah. Someone actually pulled over and he got worried. Eh? I think this was the Retrovision, the local Retrovision.
Oh. Do they even have those anymore?
Nah, I don't reckon. Or they're long gone, hey. Hardy possibly did a knee there.
It looked like he did, didn't he?
Stacks on. I think we filled it with just bubble wrap, hey. And the old oops, I slip trick.
Where are we now?
This was on Caves Road going towards Prev. It's funny how sometimes you get a shot and you just remember it. Hey, it's stuck in your head. This is kind of a mixed bag section. Love a whale.
Everyone loves a whale. A whaley.
Hugely. Where are we talking here? Is that?
I don't know.
I'm just going to throw out Old Cobs. I remember there was a session at Old Cobs we had. That might have been tension 1 though. Good old lip in the head. George's Ohana. I forget how many sessions we used to have out north. So it was kind of the bread and butter, hey. You box and north, that's the 2 you wanted to surf. But now it feels like it's months between a breaking.
Yeah. I don't know whether our standards have just...
Is that what it is? Or is it...
must be, I reckon. But we used to surf it onshore all the time. So, like...
You just get... The older you get, the more picky you get, hey.
Big time.
Whereas back in the Grom days, you just go there and that's the plan you had out.
And there'd be arvos where it'd be onshore and then turn offshore late, and like it'd just pump for an hour kind of thing. Where unless you're out there, you know, you're not going to get there in time to get it.
Yeah. Big Dick Mick. Man, they absolutely scored that session.
Yeah. He
Is he still surfing? I see. Mate, I follow him on
his
Insta every now
and
then.
Surfs pretty well. I think he was actually a really good union player.
Yeah.
Like I think he played like semi-professional, like a lot of and he's a big dude. I think Rawlins is still pretty close with him because he does his PT and stuff like that.
Yep. Obviously, was there in that tension 1 Terry scene.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Probably one of the most famous scenes. Hey?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mitch Hall, shout out to Mitch as well. He's still doing his thing, eh?
Yeah.
Loves his golf as well, like Verdi.
Yeah, I've been speaking to Hawley a little bit later.
Do you? Yeah.
Still working up north. We're trying to get him down. Haven't seen him for a little while.
Yeah. And Johnny Moffat, he's back in WA.
Oh, is he?
Yes. He's going to come on the pod very soon, I think. So he was over east and now he's back.
Was he in Queensland? Was he?
I think he was in a couple of spots over east, like maybe went up there as well.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure he's back for good now in WA. Remember this, like getting high paced and building up.
Oh.
Druzy before, hey.
Yeah. And there's so many
quickly he's just lost it there, eh? He's just like it's gone from dropping a TV to just fuck it, I'm just pegging ice creams at you.
Catch this.
Oh, there was a little timestamp on the video there. It said 2000.
Oh yeah. Did it?
Yeah, confirmation.
Yeah, correct. Lords.
Yeah, because Kat did perspectives around this time as well. Hey, I remember watching that recently and you had this crazy camera on your head.
Did I?
You had the helmet cam. Did you get a neck injury out of that, I think? Do you not remember that camera?
Oh, nah, I don't.
It's on perspective. There's footage of you like pulling in and you've got this Gath helmet on with this massive camera. You should be the one sitting here with bulge disc, not me. Oh, Billyman.
Yeah.
He's
another like one of those guys that
chew pig, eh?
Yeah, big
just traveled the world just looking for pits.
Remember that massive pit he got in Tahiti? Like
which one?
The one that's on the cover, and he's just like, it was huge at the time, big West Bowl, and he just turns and just goes.
Yeah. He's the man. I remember just bumping into him randomly in Hawaii one year at Turtle Bay. And just got chatting to him. Such an epic dude.
Yeah,
him and Thorto were like the two guys. Hey?
And then
those they just like when they're separate ways, but somehow they're like internationally, they get these green cards and just live at these waves that they love.
Man, they both stayed in Tahiti. They must have been there. Well, Thorto's still there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Ludeman lives in Hawaii, hey?
Yeah. But I think that like he went through Porto, all those big, like just loves it.
And Rocky. There wasn't that much Rocky in this movie. Maybe around this. So this footage here is from Hawaii vacation year. So I reckon a lot of the Rawlins Hawaii footage I held on to for the Hawaii movie. Because fuck, he was ripping too, hey?
Yeah.
Was that around the time of the transition from Manta to...
I reckon he would have been at science for
in that session. Yeah.
Yep.
So he was ripping on the sabers. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then
that was almost Stroey. Like that would have been 90s.
Yeah, late 90s where he's on the saber. Yeah.
Yep.
And hardballs too, yeah.
And then after that year in Hawaii, I think that was it. He went to Stewart after that.
Yeah.
I think.
And you could just see his riding just went like.
Yeah, just had proper like custom ball. He was just, ripping.
Nudgy, Housey, and Dord.
What? Those red slicks.
That's some old school Pabry right there. And this is huge for Dord. He wasn't one for confrontation. Like he hated like tension, like any sort of
loves a collared shirt.
Intense situation. Dord was out. Housey, look at him. The boss is going to go spare. That's at Hillary's Marina.
That's the size of those computers.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember we went past, you know how people have skip bins?
Yeah.
And I think there was just people throwing out these computers, like, and we were just there. It was like, all right, we'll grab the computers. We'll move office. And that's it, straight into the credits.
Do you remember the premieres, Wongy?
No, they all started blending. But I wish I did remember them all better.
Love the puka necklace. Remember how big?
Oh, yeah, we used to go down to Kiki and pick the shells, hey. Hand pick them. And every now and then you come across the real rare one. What was it called? Oh, it had the best name too. Like
the puka shell?
No, the tiger one.
Oh, that had the...
And you could go to, if you found one of these, you go to Haleiwa and sling it for $80. This one shell. You'd have to go that early morning to find it.
Oh, dude.
Quigley just fucking... He's done a shoulder. I think he actually didn't really hurt himself, but he just thought, this is my way out here. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Shoulder hurts looking at the size of that TV.
And he's just he's gone down in front of the police.
Stretcher him off.
Mate, he was ahead of his time, wasn't he?
So good. Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, because Brophy made it big in the skating world, eh?
Oh, yeah. Fucking
do you remember him when he was a grop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went from the little...
From Margs to like...
The little skate park in Margs, stealing our shoes.
Yeah.
And then...
He was probably the biggest though, eh?
Yeah. That was Moffat repping there was some old tension merch, eh? And speaking of which, you've got yourself the brand new tee, which I've just released.
New kit.
Have that on the old website.
Help yourself.
Oh, there was brief footage then, I think, of first premiere. And
do you remember that day? Do you remember that day you plucked the wobbegong out of the ocean?
I do.
That was that day.
That was right then, eh?
Hand fishing.
How did I catch a wobbegong? It just
we were
come
there
up
fishing,
to us.
And it was like near the rocks and you literally grabbed it out of the water with your bare hands.
Yeah, I remember it.
I remember just going like, what is going on here?
Did we eat it or did we release it?
It was like a... I think that was before they were endangered species.
The statue.
The statue. It's legit.
What would we have done?
I'm going to say he ended up in the pan.
We would have eaten it.
Along with a few abalone that might have...
They would have tasted
made
good
its
too.
way into the bag as well.
Yeah, I wondered if you remembered that, eh?
I don't know where that was, but I vividly remember that.
It was near Angie's house.
Yeah, so that
down
was
Metro
like Metro Cup Road. Yeah. Back of that's back of Mufflers, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's Mason with the breakdance. Speak of the devil. Look at him go. This guy really didn't want to get upstaged by a guy out of the crowd. See if he got so intense. He pointed at him like, see in your face.
I reckon Hardballs would have had a lot of them.
Yeah, Hardballs would have had them all covered. That was it. I remember I got a phone call from, I think it was Nor. Would have been the 3310, brand new.
Oh, yeah.
How's that?
Out of the bag.
That is a wrap. Look at us.
So sick.
Cheers, Hughesy. That was sick watching that back.
Good seeing that. How long do you reckon it's been since you've seen that?
I actually, a few months ago, I had a look through because we were going to do this a while back. And I watched it through then and then I literally haven't watched it since.
Man, I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah.
So sick.
A lot of old school memories.
So many good times.
Yeah. I remember at the end of the first one, I asked Hardy, what advice would you give 17-year-old Hughesy Right now, if you could give yourself advice, what would you say?
Oh, if you could go back now.
Yeah, like looking at that time period.
Man, I'd just don't know. Like it seems like now because you're so busy that you have so much spare time.
Yeah.
But I reckon that was the best thing about like going to places. Maybe the surf's not good and you just make your own fun.
Yeah.
Like so, I wouldn't change a thing. Hey, I reckon like it was all time. Some of those, and so many memories that you forget until something pops up like that, and you just think, oh, how random was that, or how good was that day? I reckon we were just super lucky to live through that period. And the sport was kind of like pretty big back then. And it's just.
Do you find it a spin out? Your oldest boy in 8 years will be that age.
Yeah,
it's like it's so close, and
I think I remember the first national titles I went to. I think I just turned 12, and like that he'll be like 2 years away, or not even 2 years away from that.
No way, you were 12 with that first.
Yeah, I remember. Like we were out tonking, someone lit palm tree, might have been you, wrapped toilet paper around, set the palm tree on fire.
I told that story the other day to someone.
And we were, I forget who I was with, but we were on the riverbank. I don't know whether it was someone that we'd tonked in the car, and we were thinking about jumping in the water and swimming to the other side just to get away. And I just remember just going, these and apart from that, like I'd just been at school. I was just like a little kid at school. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, sickest times.
Crazy,
Courtney McKay, Andy Lawrence, like it was such a big crew.
Crazy to think that that's 17-year-old Hughes, and then how long that went for, all them years surfing, traveling. Think about all the places we went to, and then culminated at the right, towing in, getting them massive, mind-blowing pits.
Yeah. I mean, we've been pretty lucky to go, like even the Philippines. Like not many people were surfing the Philippines when we went through there.
Yeah.
It seems like finding waves like that's probably a thing of the past. Now, like nowadays.
I've been fucking looking hard. We're getting more.
No one's got more chance of finding a wave than you do, but you just got to go far, don't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Now, still obviously out there, but like, yeah, even Slater's Right, like wasn't really like not too many people were surfing that when we first went up there. All those spots.
They were to ourselves every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty lucky to kind of be able to go through that. I guess just off the back of real core surfing before our generation.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of didn't really have the cars or the tracks and all that to kind of go through that period where it kind of was big enough where people were traveling, still finding new spots. It was all time.
Yeah. I reckon we've got another for before Tension 11 comes out. We're going to definitely get another sick trip in.
Yeah, I'm frothing.
Looking forward to it.
I'd love to go on a trip somewhere.
Cheers, bruz. All right, we'll cut it there. We'll if you want to catch us we have a podcast, me and Buddha, the Green Reapers. If you need anything built, hit up Hughes Construction.
Gin, just clothes.
Gin, the merch is on. Covered. You go to my Insta, Chris.Whitey. All the links in the bio if you want to come to our show in Sydney. Your Insta's Little Big Huge.
Yep.
And let us know in the comments anything you want us to cover in the next Director's Cut. But I want to get them a little more consistent now.
Yeah.
I'm back in the swing. We've got a little studio now. So.
Even some favourite Tension memories.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon there'll be some all-time stuff come through that.
But anyone that obviously people that watch this now probably grew up watching it. So shout out to you. And thanks for all the support over all the years. And thanks for watching. And hopefully Tension 11 will bring back some nostalgic memories.
Yeah.
From that it feels nostalgic every time we go out filming. So
mate, even the with the Up and Joke that we went to in Perth.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months ago now, 3 months ago maybe. It was just all-time night, some sick footage on there, brought back so many sick memories, so many crew haven't seen in ages that just come up and have a chat about maybe like some of their cool memories or whatever.
Yeah.
So sick.
So it's all about that community, that like doing them Up in Jokes, the first one and the second one. That's actually why I got the idea to do Tension 11 again. So if you're in Sydney, come out. I'd love to catch up
Check
with you.
it out.
Yeah. And we hang around last time after the show finishes and then it's just all about catching up with everyone. Hey, so
yeah.
All right. Peace out. Love you all.